from where you sit. Welcome to another episode of The Trading Bell. Today on the program, we'll be talking Matters Publishing, and I'll be hosting the Acting Chief Executive Officer of Longhorn Publishers, and that is Maxwell Wahome. So really, who is Mr. Wahome? Let's take a look at his profile. Maxwell is a finance and strategy professional with 13 years working experience, gained at both Longhorn Publishers Limited and PricewaterhouseCoopers Kenya and South Africa. Maxwell has extensive experience in overseeing business strategy and managing the finance functions of the organization and multicultural teams and dealing with complex business matters. Thank you so much, Wahome, for making time for us.
Thank you for having me.
Indeed, very, very interesting times for the publishing sector in the country. And from your interactions with the stakeholders in the industry, of course, Longhorn has been very actually playing a pivotal role in the publishing industry. And talk to us about the current landscape in the country.
I think the current landscape, as you put it, you'd say it's one of transition. The key transition being from the old, say, knowledge-based curriculum to a competence-based curriculum. So that's a key thing that's happening in our industry. And as the leading publisher in the industry, we've taken an active role in ensuring that we've developed products suitable for our learners. And also we've done a lot to provide our teachers with the necessary support in order to successfully roll out the new curriculum.
All right.
Yeah.
And Wahome, we look at the publishing sector right now. It's quite evolving, if I may say so. And take, for instance, Longhorn Publishers. Right now, being a market leader is one thing. The other thing is, what opportunities are you seeing right now that are being presented, not only in Kenya, but in East Africa at large?
Thank you. Now, the opportunities, so the key opportunity that I see right now is digital. The digital evolution has changed quite a number of things, and that's the future of education going forward. Now, as publishers, we've invested a lot in digital, and we've ensured that we've developed the Longhorn e-learning platform, which is accessible from your Android and Apple devices, and ensured that content is available for all kinds of learners. So that's the key opportunity that we see, and that's an opportunity that we're going to exploit all over the region. The other thing that we are currently looking at is other sectors of education. Now, quite a number of publishers are focused on textbooks. Longhorn has gone further and ensured that we are looking at creative works with a lot of depth, and that will go a long way in developing our African writers. And one thing that's very clear is that the African story is yet to be heard by the world. We are taking an active role in that and developing our authors in that area.
All right.
Yes.
And speaking about developing authors, Wahome, of course, the African market presents unique opportunities for Longhorn. Yes. And talk to us about specific strategies when it comes to expansion into the greater East Africa region, and touching on other spheres, really, of the education sector across Africa.
Okay. Africa, I mean, just looking at the Eastern African market, we're talking about close to over 100 million kids. So that's a huge market. Now, other than children, you have adults. And as Longhorn, our vision is to become to be the leading provider of innovating learning solutions in all Africa. So the whole of Africa is our market. Now, the kind of opportunities and the main strategies that we are focusing on is other than textbooks. Yeah. I've talked about creative works. We are now also looking at tertiary, which is a huge segment that has been previously dominated by foreign European publishers. But that's a market that we are going in, and we're saying, why should we have a masonry or a plumbing book from Europe? Yeah. We know our requirements, we know our specifications, so we can do that job better. And we are using that platform to to go into each and every country within the region. And that will be still our strategy going forward.
All right.
Yes.
I'm quite intrigued by the direction you're taking the company, and I might be buying shares.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the listing bit of Longhorn. Of course, you're talking about very grand projects,
Yes.
Wahome. How do you plan to finance this? Are you foreseeing you raising capital from the stock markets? Is it a plan you might be considering as a company? And of course, you've been in operations before.
Yes. Now, we use a combination of different sources of funding, both, of course, internal funds and a combination of that with debt. But some of these projects that I'm talking about are projects that have been in the pipeline.
All right.
They're not new projects that
So they've been budgeted
started.
for.
So they've been budgeted for, and we've been doing the groundwork over the last couple of years. But now we are going to go, I would say, full blast and make sure that they become a reality. And a few years from now, Longhorn will definitely be the leading company in Africa.
All right.
That's where I want to take the
Interesting
company.
times
Yes.
indeed. And before you go full blast, talk to us about the spend you are targeting in this whole grand rollout.
We're still evaluating the funding in terms of how much it will cost. But as I've said, the key thing is not really the funding. The key thing is actually getting the right authors.
Yeah.
And we are actively looking for authors. And any author out there or writer out there telling you your home is at Longhorn, that is the key. That's the key person that we're interested in. From the author, we can get the kind of products that we need. So
All right.
that's the direction I'm taking.
And Wahome, the Kenya Publishers Association has been very vocal on matters to do with piracy. And this has sort of had a big dent for the industry. And just talk to us about the numbers. How much are we losing to piracy? And what steps can we take actively towards sort of slaying this menace?
The industry loses around 30%, which is huge. When you think of the ripple effect to our authors, how much they are losing. But one of the things that continues to ensure that piracy still thrives is the weak laws that we have. The punishment for having contraband goods is not as punitive as it should be.
What does the law say currently?
The law, you can get away with a fine of below 1 million shillings, and you've pirated books worth 100 million, and you take your goods away.
Wow.
So it's really weak, and it's killing many industries, not just publishing. But as a company, Longhorn, we've taken active measures together with the Kenya Publishers Association. We've engaged the government through the Kenya Copyrights Board, KECOBO, and we are working closely with them, and we've seen progress made over the last couple of months. In addition to that, we've ensured that all our books have the required security features, a cheat tag, which is a tag that you can scratch and validate the book and ensure that it's authentic. And we continue encouraging our buyers to ensure that they buy original products. Buying contraband products only kills the market. It denies the government its rights in terms of taxes, and also kills our authors. So that's my message to any of our customers out there.
All right.
Yes.
And in another world, Wahome, if you're to be made Cabinet Secretary for Education,
Yes.
of course, I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
But what would you specifically do, especially when it comes to incentivizing authors and, of course, creating a vibrant reading culture in the country? If you compare Kenya to, say, West Africa, we see a lot of authors coming out of West African countries, Nigeria to be precise. We're also seeing the same happening in countries like Ghana. We're also seeing the same happening in South Africa. For Kenya, the number of writers haven't been growing as fast as the industry has been growing. As a company, are you foreseeing opportunities in terms of nurturing authors and sort of raising the bar to another level?
Yes, definitely. The government first, we have to congratulate the government for taking huge steps in rolling out the new curriculum. Now, the new curriculum encourages learning, innovation, and also reading. So we, for example, we now have a subject on literacy in our early years. We never had that before. So what that will do is encourage people to read, not for an exam, but for the love of the book. So that is one key measure that going forward will encourage a number of Kenyans, quite a huge number of Kenyans, to start enjoying reading. And once you pick that one up, as a publisher, we also had initiatives to ensure that we boost the reading culture, ensuring that we participate in various events and promote the reading habit. But I agree, the government still has quite a bit to do, but the roadmap is there already.
All right.
Yeah.
And this is more of a personal question,
Yes.
Wahome. For instance, I've been in the media industry for close to 8 years now, and I've been a business journalist. And many of the people out there would love to be authors, but the journey towards becoming an author is very hazy if someone was to go that route. Of course, for you, it would be more business if you can get more authors to write very experiential kind of books that you can publish that can become bestsellers eventually. So are there deliberate steps that you're taking towards perhaps tapping into people who have an interest? For example, my case, I would really want to do a book on the business landscape in the country.
So to author with us is absolutely free. All you need to do is walk to our offices, our doors are open, and we listen to you. Now, there's quite a lot of haziness in terms of authorship in Kenya. And people think you need to pay quite a lot of money to author a book or to have your book published. You actually need just to write your manuscript. We are giving authors that platform to come talk to us, and we listen to them, and we'll publish their book. What we encourage most is originality and driving the African agenda. Tell us the African story. We've already heard about the European story. Now even more specific, let's hear about the East African and the Kenyan story. And you'll see that's the theme that quite a number of our books are taking. Yeah.
All right. And finally, when we started off the interview, we talked about digital is going to be big business actually. And for a company of your size, talk to us about the investments you want to make in the digital front, and how significant will digital be, especially for the publishing sector at large?
Digital will be massive. The first step that we've taken is having our own e-learning platform, e-learning platform.
Yeah.
And that is we are the only publisher in Kenya with such a platform. And what that does is to encourage learners all over Kenya and even all over the world. Anybody can access our e-learning platform. We've provided them with e-learnings, and they cover different subjects and different grades. And going further, we're even going to invest in virtual schools. You will not have to go to school to get, to learn.
I really look forward to that.
Yes, and that will help. I mean, quite a number of parents are thinking about homeschooling. Now we're thinking about that option and ensuring that there's something for everybody. And even corporates, very soon we'll have e-learning for corporates. You don't have to get material from a different market. Get material developed by Kenyans for the Kenyan market.
All right.
Yes.
Develop for Kenyans for the Kenyan market.
Yes.
And thanks, Wahome.
Thank you for having me.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Well, we've been speaking there to Mr. Maxwell Wahome, the acting CEO for Longhorn Publishers, one of the listed companies here at the Nairobi Securities Exchange. Quite an optimistic outlook for the publishing sector at large. Well, it's time now for us to take a look at our market analysis for this week. There's a deliberate attempt to turn around Uchumi by them trying to fix the internal issues, especially around debt. And for this particular stock, what is your general outlook?
So the general outlook is not as clear.